For whenever you eat of this bread and drink of this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. Amen. I think that the title is already beamed. Remember the future. Once again, another contradiction in terms. You cannot remember what is not yet. If you are Umzulu, Mxhosa, or English, or even African, you cannot remember what has not happened. But if you are Hebrew, it is very possible to remember what has not happened. Because your path or the road you take is always determined by the past. Whatever you do is guided by what has already happened. Picture with me a man seated on a rowing boat, moving in a direction that he is not facing. So when he rows, he does not row towards where he is going, but he is forever rowing backwards. Now, he always has his back to where he is going, but looking at where he is coming from. Where he is going is guided by the path he has taken in the past. If he deviates from where he was, he is sure to not get to where he is going. This is the most Hebrew or Jewish text that Paul has ever written. That whenever we participate in this meal, we have a strong, intentional focus on the past while proclaiming the future in order to be secure in the present. Because he has already done what he said he would do, we believe that what he said he would do, he will surely do because of what he has done. Someone then says, how do you know he's coming? I know he's coming because he said it before and he did it. He not only did it, he said he would die and he resurrected and we saw it. And after he resurrected, he said, remember. Whenever you doubt what I'm about to do, remember that I did it as I said I would. Now, I want to use a text to support this thought. And it is found in Matthew. It's a Matthean text. And Luke also takes it and interprets it differently. You're not going to open it. Jesus, talking to his disciples on the mountainside, says, blessed are the poor, for they shall inherit the kingdom. In the verse, there are two words that are in the present. One is in the present continuous. The other is in the present perfect. The blessed and the poor. What is sure and what we do know about those who are being addressed is that they are blessed right now and they will continue to be blessed. What we also know about them is that they are also poor. Yet their poverty does not diminish their blessedness. Now here's the funny part. While the blessed is present and continuous, it is dependent on what has not yet become apparent. They are blessed because they will inherit. They have not inherited it, but what they will inherit blesses them in its absence, yet in the presence of what opposes their blessedness. Someone didn't hear me. Let me say it again. They are blessed presently, and they will continue to be blessed because the one who blesses them does not stop blessing. Now, if you are Hebrew, you will know, or if you understand or are acquainted with the Hebrew mind. None of us are Hebrew here. If you are acquainted with the Hebrew mind, you will know and understand that God's actions have a tendency of taking upon his character. What God does tends to look exactly like him. When he blesses, In other words, when he blesses, what he does becomes as unconditional as he is. If God is life unborrowed and underived, his blessings will take on the same position and character. They will not be deserved because they are not worked for. They emanate from God's generous judgment. You do not work for God's blessings. That is why when he gives them to you, he does not come back to demand them back from you. It's fine. That is why when they are blessed, I need to take another text. I was told when you present an argument, back it up with the text because it's from the Bible. That is why when Jeremiah in the book of Lamentations says, through the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed. His mercies never fail because they have taken on a character of a God who never fails. And then he says something which we have mistranslated. He says, well, we have translated it to mean, great is thy faithfulness. In the originals, it says, every morning you are not dead. And because you are not dead, your mercies will not die. Because they still have you as a reference point to continue doing. In other words, God's blessings and mercies do not continue as long as you find favor before God's eyes or as long as you can afford them. They continue for as long as God is. Now, when you then take the blessed, I've just explained to you how you are blessed. When you then take the blessedness and you see the nature of the blessings, you are then left with an understanding that if blessedness has an engine, which is God to sustain us, then poverty cannot stand a chance. It can run with the blessings concurrently, but it gets to a point where it gets tired because it has no backup. Now when Paul speaks here, he speaks to a people that are living in the present. And he says, look back to what God has done. His blessings at the cross. For whenever you remember what he did on the cross, you proclaim. You're not bringing into your consciousness his coming, but you proclaim his coming as a certainty because of what he did in the past. We are not sure of the future because it is guaranteed. We are sure of the future because the past indicates that he who has spoken it is just enough to bring it unto fruition. We know he is coming, not because we assume he will create an event in the future. We know that he is coming because he has come before. We understand that God has no problem with associating with sinners. We understand that God does not have a challenge with immersing himself with the mess that surrounds the earth. We know that he's got no challenges with taking unclean vessels, washing them clean, and making them worthy for holy places. And that is why today, our assurance that we'll make it into the kingdom is not based on what we do today. It is based on what he has done in the past. I urge you today that as you move towards the future that God has already secured for us in the past, you may remember your future. May God bless you.